Do you realize how much stress is controlling your life? Do you know how much it's actually affecting your health? I mean, that's something that I didn't know myself. I never really considered that maybe stress or anxieties could be something that might be blocking me from getting my health and keeping and living a really healthy life. And that's completely normal. Everybody has stress in their lives. Everybody has different things that stresses them out. Like people have different views in their brains. Like it's different and stress affects everybody differently. But I just want you to know that you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you, but how you deal with stress can make all the difference when it comes to your health. And today I'll be going over what I'm doing to deal with stress. Now, I know that we've always been taught you need to manage it, but realistically, you can't manage it. Stress is just gonna happen. And how you deal with it makes all the difference. So that's what we'll be covering today. Now, I know that sometimes you can feel constantly overwhelmed. Life just happens. And if you haven't noticed, but it always seems to happen all at the same time. Now, no matter how carefully you plan or how perfectly you may have things laid out in your life, there's always going to be something that life will just throw at you and you'll just have to react to it. And it's just a fact of life, right? It's just like that. That's why it's always called it's just life, because there's always gonna be something. And no matter how well you plan for it, you're always gonna not be prepared. And or you have to have things in place for you to deal with these in a certain way. Now, how I do it may be different from how you do it. These are just suggestions. You can take what resonates with you and you can leave the rest, or you can leave them all if you find that it doesn't apply to you. But these are just things that I do myself. This is just what I'm doing to deal with stress, anxieties, overwhelm. Stress is potentially a big roadblock to your health. And potentially, if you've been doing the diets and you've been doing the exercise and you're still not seeing the results that you want, stress may be something that you might want to look at, because that could be the missing key to you getting the health that you want. So, now what is it that I'm doing? The first thing that I like to do is, well, number one, I feel that getting exercise, getting up, getting out, and taking care of your body, to me, is a really good way of taking care or dealing with stress. I like to go on walks. Typically on workout days, I'll do a half hour walk, and I'll do this disconnected. And what I mean by that is I won't take my phone, I won't listen to any music, I'll just walk in nature, or well, around the neighborhood outside in nature, but I'm not connected to any electronic device or anything like that. I'll just be alone with myself, with my thoughts, and with my breath. And I'll walk. It's usually about a little over a mile, maybe a mile and a quarter, so it'll take about 30 to 45 minutes. That's just a way of me to get outside, be with myself, and just have an activity form with myself to think about the things that I'm thinking about and work through the problems with myself. And helps to clear my mind, get outside, be in nature, be by myself. And it's a really good way of getting your thoughts in order and really feeling what's going on. And it's a good way to get your body moving, which is also shown to have benefits. That's the first thing. Second thing that I like to do is I also like to do a lot of self-reflection, and this could be in the ways of meditation or breath work, some more of that work of being with myself and connecting to the thoughts, because sometimes you're searching for answers on what to do and how to take care of certain things, and a lot of that can be overwhelming at times. Sometimes if you just calm yourself down, breathe in and let your body just soak in and be in a state of zen where you calm your frequency down, then you're able to come up with answers yourself. Messages will just come to you and you'll come up with thoughts, ideas, and you might actually come up with some clarity on how to take care of things that are stressing you out, or things that you have, the things that are bothering you that you might have anxiety towards. So something that may help in the process of trying to deal with the things that you have to deal with on a daily basis. I know it takes some time, so, and it's a practice. Like everything's a practice. It's definitely not for everybody. I would say, just give it a try. There's a lot of research and a lot of videos on YouTube that will help you do a guided breath work or some kind of guided meditation to help you with doing that. And I feel it's beneficial and it's helped me a lot, especially when there's things that I'm searching for answers for. And answers just tend to show up in different forms and in the way that you least expect it. So meditation, breath work, also journaling will help. I find there's a lot going on up here, and a mentor of mine said you got too many tabs open, so you got to close some of those tabs. So putting it down on paper will definitely help you get your thoughts out. And especially if you're able to see it written down, then you can be like, okay, what is really actually important and what is not? And then that might give you a different perspective, which we'll cover now. The third thing that I like to do for myself is I like to seek perspective, especially from somebody else, because what I find is that if you're looking at it too closely, you may be missing a lot of the potential messages that you're receiving. Because if you're looking at it too close and you're in the problem, you're in it, and from your point of view may not be able to find your way out of this problem. So bouncing ideas or discussing your problems with a trusted friend or maybe a coach or a mentor may help you get to see your problem from a different point of view. And I think that is very important. Reframing is a very powerful way of turning something from negative into a positive thought, or it's just a way of helping you to refocus on what the actual problem is. Also, seeking perspective from an outside source, they may have different ideas about what the problem is, and they might be able to change your mind. It may not actually be a problem. It may actually be a solution to a problem that you're already having, and they'll be able to help you see the positives in what you're going through. So that's one of the other positive things or beneficial things to seeking an outside perspective. And the last thing, and I touched on it, is reframing, right? What you want to do is you want to concentrate. I know it'll be difficult in the moment, but if you're able to switch it to where you're coming from or thinking about it from a positive perspective. And what I mean by that is you want to come from a place of abundance, not a place of lack. And a way to do that is to get yourself in a place of gratitude, being grateful for what you do have instead of thinking about what you don't. Right? I think that might be very helpful. I think the issue that a lot of us have, or I don't want to generalize it, but an issue that, and I've had in the past, is I was tending to think about all the things I didn't have, or I was thinking about all the things that were going wrong, as opposed to when you switch it around and think about it from the positive side, you're thinking about it as all the things that I do have, or yet even better, like all the things that I'm set to gain if I were to do these or give up these things, right? And then you could also think about and be grateful for those things, and then tie that in and you feel it. So that way, when you're triggering the feeling, you feel better about it. I think that a lot of stressful events are tied to you very emotionally, and they're emotionally charged. That's what makes it so powerful, and that's kind of what triggers the response in your body, and like all those chemicals and cortisol and all those things that affect you physically happen when you actually feel it inside your body. What you want to do is change your energy, change your frequency to a positive frequency. Now, easier said than done. I find that that is definitely something very powerful if you're able to do that. I strongly feel that seeking outside perspective will help you to do that and accomplish that. That is it. Those are some of the things that I like to do. I know it's only three. There could be more that I can think of in the future that I actually do. But exercising, getting outside, being with yourself, meditating, concentrating on your thoughts, concentrating on your breath, and writing things down, they'll definitely be beneficial. And changing your perspective, seeking outside perspective, getting a different point of view from somebody, and gratitude. Think about the things that you do have as opposed to what you don't. I think coming from a place of abundance and being grateful for what you do have is a very powerful and very effective way to change yourself energetically, to transform or transmute the energy of stress. Because stress it's a feeling, it's an emotion. Yes, there's going to be things that get thrown into your life that you weren't expecting, that you don't like, and those things are going to happen, and it's all about how you deal with it and how you go about dealing with those things that makes the biggest difference. Because stress could be the one thing that's holding you back from living a truly healthy life. And I firmly believe that it could be a missing link for a lot of us when it comes to the lives that we live today. And stressors are everywhere. So it's all about how you deal with it. That's all I got for you today. Hopefully that was beneficial to you. And let me know what you think. What are some things that you guys are doing, that you do personally, to deal with stress? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video and you want to continue to follow my journey and you like the information that I'm putting out to you, then consider subscribing. And I will see you in the next one. See you guys later.